Hey, I'm David Rountree. I am the director of the film Cut, and you are watching the 13th Wolf Man. And I'll do the NC State Wolf. Ow!
Hey everyone, welcome to Sit Down. You know who I am? I'm the 13th Wolfman today. David Rountree's back, the director, the writer, cut. And we got with us first timer, Reid Warner. Welcome to Sit Down, guys.
Hey everyone.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for having us.
So let's dive in a little bit with you first, Reid, because
hmm
I mean, as we're talking, you're just really starting to explode on the scene right now. Can you give us a little background of who you are?
I am originally from Boston. Moved to LA about 8 years ago. Studied acting. Have been pursuing acting. Had some small roles on TV, and I ended up getting cast in this movie Area 51 from the director of Paranormal Activity, Oren Peli, as the lead. And we basically went into production on that movie right as the first Paranormal Activity was coming out, and of course everyone knows how that did, and so that opened up a lot of doors for Area 51, and ended up getting picked up by Paramount and was released about 4 months ago and is now on Netflix and trending on Netflix. So that's all good stuff.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, so now that you got this, you got Air 51 pretty much in your pocket. What's next?
Well, I just finished working on a movie called House of Manson, where I play Tex Watson.
Text. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon Slagle. I don't know if you're familiar with him and his
Yep.
work. But I just did that, finished that, and that's actually being released in the UK in December, I think.
Yeah. There's a
A
lot of movies on Manson lately.
lot of Manson stuff, yeah. And I just kind of fell into this one. I actually happened to be on a plane and sitting next to the woman that was casting this movie. And she thought, we started talking about acting and movies and stuff, and she thought I'd be right for it. So I put myself on tape, and in about a month, I was acting in this movie with Brandon. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. See, this is the problem that they have with casting Manson.
hmm
Manson wasn't tall.
No, no,
He's like 5'4", 5'5" at the most.
yeah,
And it seems like they always cast these people who are a little bit taller than that. It's like his thing is he was very charismatic.
right.
Even though he's a nut job, he's charismatic.
So
And he had.
you said you saw House of Manson?
I've seen a lot of other Manson movies.
Right, right, yeah. The guy who plays Charles Manson, Ryan Kaiser, is not particularly tall. He's not 5'5", but you wouldn't think he was particularly tall just watching the movie. But he does a really excellent job, and he's spot on. Looks like Charles Manson.
I mean, even going back to the movie Helter Skelter, Stephen Railsback
Yeah,
was even a little tall.
right.
So I watched
Well,
that.
maybe we'll get Tom Cruise to do it. How about
There
that?
you go.
Yeah. Who would you
Take
who would you have as Charles Manson?
Actually, if you know what, if he didn't have his problem with Parkinson's, I'd throw Michael J. Fox in there right now.
Michael J. Fox. Wow.
Yeah, he's got the height, he's got the ability to do a great job acting.
Yeah.
But the Parkinson's kind of throws it off.
Yeah.
You know, so
Probably too tall, but what do you think about like Joaquin Phoenix?
I think he would try to be too much of Joaquin Phoenix playing Charles Manson.
hmm
It seems like, I mean, I liked him in his earlier stuff, but like when you watch him in the Johnny Cash story,
Uh-huh.
I don't buy him as Johnny. He does a great job singing his songs, but it looks more like a performance of him trying to be Johnny Cash than Johnny Cash emerging.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe another good one would be like Edward Furlong.
Oh yeah, he'd be good.
You know,
Yeah, he'd be good.
so that sounds like you're all set up. Wow, David. Uh,
Yes.
sorry.
No, I thought Michael J. Fox. I never would have thought about that.
Yeah,
But that's actually a
that was
really
some real
creative
stunt casting there.
choice. I like that. especially really before Parkinson took over. That would have been a really dynamic opportunity.
It would have been incredible. I mean, can you picture him with like the wild hair and just
absolutely. Now I can. After you said it, I never would have thought about it before, but absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, I still get sucked into the Back to the Future marathons when they come
on. I have them on. I have the trilogy on DVD. I have the trilogy on Blu-ray, and I saw the first movie 6 times in the theater the day it came out.
Wow. Well, you know what's funny? In the second one, when they actually get the Gray's Sports Almanac, you know, that's got all the results. When Marty goes into the future, it's 2015, of course. So there's a lot of fun references to what's going on in the movie as today.
Wow.
And one of the things they mentioned was, of course, the Cubs win the World Series, which it could happen. The other thing, which is really fascinating, is on the movie marquee in the background. It's pretty far. It says Star Wars is opening up, but it's Star Wars by Disney, which makes it even more ironic because, of course, it is Star Wars by Disney now, which back then it definitely wasn't. So it's
but they were also showing Jaws 19.
Shark still looks fake.
Shark still looks fake, yeah.
Right.
Weren't the Cubs also beating the Miami Marlins or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Which was the team they played in the NLCS.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but was it the Marlins? I mean,
I thought it was the It was the Miami. It might not have been the Marlins. It was just Miami.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Miami at the time had a team.
No, it was. Yeah, I guess then it was just the Florida Marlins. When they. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. I get sucked in every time that they're on. They were on over the weekend, man.
They were.
You get sucked in even the third one?
I like the third one.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing ZZ Top spin the drums and the guitars.
Right.
The fact that he's got to figure out how to take dry cell batteries and convert them into a DeLorean that's 100 years in the future, you know. But yeah, I do. I'm glad that they stopped at 3. It's not one of those movies I would. Everyone's always saying, you know, can we have a 4th? I don't know what you would do with the 4th movie.
Right.
He went to the
50s. Wildly creative.
Yeah, he went to the 50s. He went to the future, and he went to the West. I mean, yeah, okay, we can go farther into the future, but then what? Or farther into the past. I mean, what? He meets, you know, Ichabod.
Right.
What about you, though, David? I mean, you're working on Cut too?
I am. Cut is still kind of making the rounds, which is good. We just popped up on Hulu, so now it is out there for people that have a Hulu account and open it up and take a look. And we're on iTunes now. And this Halloween, we're going to be at the Fantastic Horror Film Festival, and we're very fortunate to secure the primo spot. We're playing Halloween night at 7:30 in San Diego, and Cut was nominated for 14 awards. So we're very just humbled and thrilled at the opportunity, and a lot of solid films will be playing over that weekend, and to be up for so many awards is really a nice thing, and we're very unexpected. So we're real happy to be there in the company of some great films. So
I don't know why you don't expect these awards, man. I mean, I saw the film. The guys from the Dorkening, we know what we saw. We loved it. You deserve what you're getting, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I guess because it started out with just kind of a very humble vision to try to make something and put it out there and see what we could do. And it did create a whole nother life as we started, and we let our vision grow along the journey. And it definitely was a journey to get there. And a lot of really talented people came along and got on board to make that happen. And it just kept growing and became what it is. And we're real happy. And now, like you just mentioned, the sequel, we are in the works of the sequel. I'm actually writing the script right now with Jake Katofsky. Jake is a very talented up-and-coming filmmaker. He's the co-writer and co-producer of 108 Stitches, the baseball movie we did.
All right.
So Jake and I are working on the sequel right now, and the script, the full outline is complete, and probably the first act of the script is written. So it's a fun story that really kind of falls in the same vein of Cut, but will live independently as well. So if you haven't seen the original Cut, you're not going to be lost following this one, but they definitely, tie into each other.
I always like that about some horror franchises like Devil's Rejects. You don't have to watch the first film to know who they are.
Right.
And it's nice when you can just say, because honestly, I'm not a fan of the first House of a Thousand Corpses.
Right.
So to know that I don't have to watch that to watch a sequel is cool.
Yeah, and we figured if it tied too much into the first one, then our audience would also be limited. Because if they didn't see the first one, they would be completely lost. So we really wanted to stand alone, but still have a lot of ties to the first movie and bring it all in where it all makes sense. And the fans of the first one will appreciate this journey as an independent journey, but enjoy the parallels from the first one. And we will see some of the same characters, but maybe not as you would expect, which is the fun part. Which is true to the way Cut played out anyway. You never know really what's real. The apparent is never the truth.
I remember Leo had a problem with the ending.
But part of the ending, yeah, he was okay with the first ending, but the second twist, right?
Yeah.
But that is answered in the second one. Thanks to Leo, we took his notes and we threw that on the writing block, and we fixed that for you, Leo. So it'll be all set.
He'll be glad. He'll be happy to hear that.
Right. Absolutely.
So what kind of, you're gonna, but when you cast this, what's the dream cast? You gonna get Reid to pop in there?
I've known Reid for some time now, and I definitely will be working with Reid at some point in something. The baseball movie, Reid almost landed a role in that one as a last minute casting. It just ultimately didn't work out. But we will work together for sure. And Reid's an awesome actor. He's very talented and just a nice guy. And I like working with people that I can count on and are reliable and can deliver. And that's why I like Reid so much. And definitely with Reid Cut. And I've got a couple other films in the works too. And the ones coming up, there's a lot of opportunities, and we're gonna find something in there for you, Reid.
Yeah, we got to work together, man.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
We played baseball together at one point, so now
that's how we know each other. We played on the same baseball team in California for a while. I'm actually in New York now. I moved back to New York in January.
You're there full time now.
For the most part, I still have my place in LA, and actually all my stuff and my car and everything is still there. But I'm most of the time here. Although I've been working a lot. I've been traveling a lot because I've been working for a television show, directing.
You want to say the show is? That's fine.
It's House Hunters International.
Watch that show.
Yeah. So I started directing that show in January, and I've been going out basically 2 weeks out of the month. I'm traveling somewhere. I just got back from Amsterdam, shooting a couple episodes. So it's a nice side gig to have when the acting's a little slow, but it's been fun.
That's crazy. They're like, we're going to show you 3 houses. This one's $1 billion. This one's $2 billion. This one's not as big as the first two, but it's like just under $1 billion. Which one do you want? And the wife is always the one that's making the choice. That's
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, the wife is in charge.
As a married guy myself, whatever she says, whatever the queen says goes.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, if you ever watch the show, it's kind of not just House Hunters International, but just House Hunters. It's like the wife's the one going, I really like the kitchen in this one. And so by the time the episode's over, you're going, you know which one they're getting.
It's always about the kitchen. The kitchen has to be the perfect part of the whole thing for the people on the show. And the wife has to have the perfect kitchen.
Right.
We always play that up.
So you get to travel a lot, man.
I do. It's been fun. It's been crazy because, I did move to New York, but I don't feel like I live here. I'm gone so much. So it's been an adventure, and I've been living out of a suitcase basically all year. But it's been a lot of fun, and I've seen a lot of places. So it's great.
So you get to see places you probably thought, I'll see them eventually in my lifetime, but now you're just traveling all the time.
Yeah, it's good. Been to Germany this year, Amsterdam. About to go to Jamaica. Headed to Tortola in the British Virgin Isles, San Miguel de Allende in Mexico, England. I'm working on it. I'm trying to produce something in China. Um, so that could be fun.
That'd be crazy, man.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
would be crazy if they tell you to do all that like a weekend. Just okay. Here's a camera.
The show is shot in 4 days, so it's a little bit running around with your head cut off, trying to get it all done. But yeah.
So it's shot in 4 days, but then it takes what, like another 10 days to edit and put it together or something?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the whole process of making the show and producing it and everything takes months, but the actual field production is 4 days, and that's kind of that's basically all my job is for the most part. So a producer hands me an idea and the cast and whatever, and they have kind of the storyline that they think is going to play out, and then I get out in the field and find out that it's all going to be different, and and I put my own spin on it. And then I bring it back and hand it to post, and they do whatever they do with it, and I'm on to the next one.
You bring it. I love the fact that nowadays when you say you bring it back, it's a memory card.
Right.
It's not a giant can of film anymore. It's like here
Right.
it is. And if this was done like 20 years ago, now it's like, okay, here's my footage.
Here you go.
Here's my
So
64
small.
gigs.
Yeah. So small. It's like, did I actually do anything? This is all I've got to show for myself.
But I don't know. I'm actually I thought I would be the one when everything went from celluloid to digital. I thought I'd be the one to say no, but I've totally engulfed in the whole digital thing. I love having all the digital media out there nowadays. It's easier to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
What do
Yeah,
you guys feel?
it's easier. You can make a lot of mistakes. You can shoot a lot of footage. I mean, I don't know, Dave. You have a little more directing experience than I do, so maybe you can speak on this. But
Well, I think you're right. It does open up a lot of creative freedom to a filmmaker, especially on a budget. We make fun of that in Cut, of course, when Suze Lanier comes in and Travis says, "Oh wow, you're actually shooting on film. That's incredible. It's amazing." And she says, "It's really the only way to do it right." And the traditional filmmakers are like that. But I have shot on film, and then of course Cut and 108 Stitches were both digital. And with the digital, you can move faster. You can just kind of go for it and let it go, and you can move quickly. And if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world because you're not burning through so much film. The editing process is a little easier too because you're not, really having to take all the film and develop it and convert it to a digital print and then edit and then re-put it back and go through that entire process. It's you can go right from your camera into your edit and crank something out that's ready to be delivered. And it is easier. The traditional film feel is solid. There are a lot of great techniques out there now that you can make your digital look like film, which is the irony. You get a beautiful, crystal clean image, and then you dirty it up. So, which we did for Cut. We made it as dirty as we could. And a lot of plugins and filters where you can add film grain to it, and it's kind of the tricks of filmmaking. But you can definitely move faster and make things happen on a much tighter budget than shooting on 35 film or Super 16 or something like that.
do you feel like you have to be more prepared when you're shooting on film?
I do, because there's less room for mistakes because it will cost you so much more money in the end. You burn through film pretty quickly, and when you're buying your film rolls, they're not cheap, and you can use ends and things like that to kind of cut corners if you need to. You're on a budget, but the overall time to set it up and really make sure it's right, it is more time consuming and it's definitely more expensive. So with digital, you're given a platform that is a lot easier. And of course, in our movie, we do make fun of that, where Suze Lanier says, and any idiot these days with a digital camera can call themselves a filmmaker, which is kind of true, because it is true. You have kids now that are in 3rd and 4th grade who are making movies on iPads, and movies that look good, and movies that are far surpassed what the average consumer could do 5-10 years ago. I taught film for years, and I taught kids that were 12 years old, 13 years old, 18 years old, And a lot of these kids that were that young were still doing such quality work that if it was turned in by a professional 10 years ago, you wouldn't question it or even think that it was, anything different. But now these younger kids have this ability. They know how to edit on Final Cut. They know how to edit with Avid and Premiere, and they know how to use some of the sound programs and how to sync audio, and the things they can do are just really impressive. Absolutely, and very quickly too. It doesn't take long when you watch something to know if it's going to be a quality product.
It's also, from an acting point of view, opened up these improv movies like A Paranormal Activity, like Area 51. When directors were shooting on film, they had to stick to the script. They didn't get a lot of leeway for actors to play, which is fun and also daunting at the same time, and can also take maybe put more pressure on the script itself to be better, and rely less on the actors to improve the words on the page or whatever.
Yeah, I love commentary. So one of the things I listened to when I first got it on home media was PCU with Jeremy Piven.
I watched that movie 4 or 5 days ago.
Have you ever watched it with the commentary?
Tell her what she's won.
That was awesome.
I think we have the same taste in a lot of things.
Jeremy Piven does nothing but complain through the whole commentary that the director wouldn't let them improvise.
Really?
Because the director wanted to stick to the script, and it just kind of made him whine, and I was just kind of like, dude, the writer got paid to write that script. You could at least try to stick to it.
Right.
I understand that there's a place for improv. Don't get me wrong, but it seems like lately I've been hearing a lot of, Seth Rogen improv that entire speech, or so and so improv that line. It's like, how come no one's paying attention to the script?
Dave, you can speak on this, but I think it has more to do with the style of the film and the director, and the writer, whether they want to give you that leeway. As an actor, I would always stick to the script unless I was given that leeway. I mean, I don't make the decision to go off of it.
Okay.
But I think in a lot of Hollywood films nowadays, they're allowing actors, especially like the Seth Rogens, the Will Ferrells of the world, kind of go off on their own and see what happens. With film, you wouldn't have that luxury.
Right.
It sometimes works, and sometimes just not quite.
Yeah,
not quite
totally
sure.
agree. When I was making Area 51, I fought a lot because I just give me something. Give me some lines. Like, I'm an actor. I don't need to improv everything. I'll make the lines believable. So let's, but Oren's style is, all improv.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So, each movie is different, obviously.
Yeah, and I think that coming from a director side, after really having actors to work with who were really solid at improv, it does create challenges when an actor gets up and just completely improvs, because when they're improving, a lot of times they're not staying true every single time to the same motions. So when you get to the edit room now, you have to piecemeal things together, and sometimes the edit will not work, and you have to pull one take and combine it with another one, but the energy is different in the scene. So now an actor has an uneven performance because you're pulling one take from one and another where the energy was different, just to make the physical edit work. And you get locked into making a physical edit work as opposed to a creatively artistic, emotional edit work. And as an actor, I like to kind of have their journey and their arc, but if they go just completely off on an improv tangent, they're doing different things each take, it's really, really difficult to make that edit work. Now, there is a place for improv, and I do give my actors some creative freedom because, I hire them as actors. And I hire them for a reason because they are creative and they have something to bring, and they're not necessarily just, puppets reciting dialogue in a believable manner, I want them to have the creative freedom and flexibility to do something and work through it. And a lot of times we'll play with the scene and kind of figure out what works, because there may be something as an actor they just don't feel right saying. The line just doesn't resonate with them. It doesn't hold true in their mind when they're putting it out there, and so we try to figure out an alternate way to do it. So how can we say this better to make it feel for you, or to give you a better connection with this actor? What can we do? We'll play with the blocking and make that happen. But some of the greatest moments are improv that just kind of happen by accident. They really are. And some of the things that a writer just could not be creatively clever enough to come up with some of the brilliance that are the accidents on film. And when you catch those accidents, those are the moments of brilliance that really kind of stand out in the movie. If you can capture them, put them in the movie and make them work, which is it's awesome when that happens. It's fantastic. And then as a filmmaker, you look like a genius. You're like, oh yeah, that was great.
I mean, that's what Woody Allen does.
Yeah.
He allows the act. He says, yeah, they're my words, but put them in your own. And so that's his style, and it works perfectly. And everyone thinks it's all his dialogue.
Yeah, true. I just kind of an interesting conversation to hear from both sides of the table. The director, the actor.
Yeah.
But as Reid said, living in a digital world, it is easier to play and
right.
allow an actor to go off and have an improv because you're not so limited to, we only have this many feet of film, and if we don't get our shot in this film, we are done. We have to.
That's very true.
You can just record and throw it on the hard drive and clear the disc and do it again. And so it does offer that amount of creative flexibility to play. And I like to have enough footage to play with in the edit.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to thank you guys for coming on. We're getting ready to set up for the live show, so thank you.
Yeah,
where can people find you, David?
Well, you can always go to IMDb's got a good resource for any actor, filmmaker, movie. Of course, my name is David Rountree. There's no D in the last name. It's Rountreee. Twitter is my production company, which is Psycho Rock Productions. So my Twitter is at Psycho Rock.
Yeah, Psycho Rock 2.
Psycho Rock 2. Someone took one. I don't know who did it. I couldn't get one, so at Psycho Rock 2, and I think there's a Facebook like page, which is the word one, O-N-E, David Rountree.
Yeah, and you can find me on IMDb as well at Reid Warner. Also Reid Warner on Facebook. Please go check out my fan page, and Reid G. Warner on Twitter. And go watch Area 51 on Netflix.
Yeah, definitely.
Any casting directors out there checking this out, take a look at Reid. He's a good actor, and I'm gonna snag him. So get him while you can.
Thanks, Dave.
This guy needs to be acting, man.
Yeah.
All right. With that, I'm the 13th Wolfman.